Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, MV Agusta has emerged from a financially troubling time with a fresh ethos, revised strategy and some exciting new technology. And leading this new small batch product strategy is none other than the Brutale 800RR, an exquisitely crafted example of Italian engineering. The compact Brutale RR is as aggressive in style as it is in performance. Based on the standard Brutale 800, which was last updated in 2016, its athletic muscular appearance is accentuated by the red and white or black and red graphic schemes and stunning diamond machine forged aluminium wheels. LED daytime running lights front up the bike and a revised pillion seat, complete with steerable grab handles, is proof of the attention to detail that's gone into this model. Whether men passengers will willingly climb aboard the back of the Brutale remains to be seen, however. The only questionable element of the bike for me is the swing-arm mounted number plate holder, which hugs the rear wheel awkwardly. Of course, this is an EU compliance thing and you could always swap it for a neat underseat unit, but with the indicators down on that swing arm it might be a little tricky swapping over. When I first hopped aboard the Brutale 800RR, its relatively tall seat height of 830mm and uncomfortable saddle took me by surprise. At 5'7" I found myself precariously balancing the 175kg, 13,490 pound bike between my legs, almost on my tiptoes. But then again, easy accessibility probably isn't this bike's USP. And as for the engine, well, firstly, MV is due hefty congratulations for making that potent powertrain Euro 4 compliant without losing any power. That's right, the 798cc unit makes exactly the same as its previous version. That's 140 horsepower and 64 pound-foot at 10,100 RPM. So to put that into perspective, from Euro 3 to Euro 4, MV had to reduce exhaust emissions by 56% and noise by 51%. And interestingly, the latter reduction was achieved by identifying and minimalising mechanical noise, so there's even a specially designed harmonic damping bolt in the cylinder heads. Lack of change most certainly doesn't mean lack of development. In fact, this unit is leagues ahead of its predecessor when it comes to refinement. Revised fuelling makes for incredibly fluid acceleration with a much smoother torque curve at lower revs than before and a very linear power curve. It's so much more aggressive than the engine in the standard Brutale, making about 40% more power thanks to revised cams and different throttle bodies with twin injectors. Whereas before, the front of the engine was mounted on one long bolt, which behaved sort of like a spring, it's now directly anchored to the steel trellis frame, acting as a stress member and improving torsional rigidity. An altered primary transmission and new gearbox leave the warranty issues of the previous model in the past, and the quick shifter is arguably one of the best I've used. Less force is required to shift gears, which is great for me because I'm notoriously light on the toe taps, and both upshifts and downblips are incredibly fast and smooth. Even shifting in corners doesn't phase the bike, and it's easy to become addicted to this quick shift function. Meanwhile, there's a new ECU and ride-by-wire throttle, which makes for an immediate and precise response to the slightest twist of the throttle with no lag whatsoever. It's still got the 4 riding modes of normal, rain, sport and custom, and you can switch between these really quite easily via the right handlebar while on the go. However, in-depth custom adjustment is done via the left bar and requires significantly more attention. But even in normal mode, the Brutale RR is incredibly lively, with the acceleration forcing you to the back of the seat. It's in its element at high revs, and from the moment you pull away, just keep the revs creeping up to get the best from the engine, and rejoice at its tuneful soundtrack. Set it to sport mode and it picks up considerably. You'll really need to brace your feet against racy foot pegs, and hold on for dear life as the front wheel threatens the top of the ground. And if you do want to get that front wheel up, switch to custom mode, where a breadth of adjustability allows you to change just about anything, including traction control, gas sensitivity, torque, engine braking, rev limit and engine response. Now, way back in 2012, MV introduced its innovative counter-rotating crankshaft in the F3 series, making history as the first manufacturer to bring the MotoGP technology to the street. The clever crankshaft worked to cancel out the rear wheel inertia, improving chassis handling and allowing the bike to make extremely quick directional changes. The engine in the new Brutale is an evolution of the F3 800 powertrain, and that crank is still there, albeit refined over the years. Combined with the compact chassis dimensions, this makes a Brutale incredibly agile. You can turn in on a dime or a penny, whatever the phrase is in England, and the bike reacts rapidly to even the most gentle of movements. At first, this ease of turning was quite disconcerting, however, once I became accustomed to it, I found myself pushing later and later before turning into bends. However, while the Brutale remains achingly agile, stability has been improved thanks to its increased wheelbase and altered rake and trail angles. Especially under heavy acceleration and high speeds, the Brutale feels planted and well balanced. Pirelli Diablo Rosso 3s proved excellent on Italy's varied tarmac. When we made it out onto the road, it had been slightly warmed by the weak winter sun and the new tyres had no issue finding grip. You can even get a special Pirelli edition for a not so insignificant £2,700 more, with unique colour schemes, components and a wider rear wheel. Suspension is accounted for by a Marzocchi inverted fork and sack shock, both of which are adjustable for spring preload, compression and rebound damping. In its standard setup, the suspension is so capable and, as would be expected, stiff and sporty. To truly be comfortable for my 56 kilograms, it would require a little softening, however the larger riders weren't complaining. An 8-position steering damper also features, however it seemed to make little difference to the bike's handling. Although that said, we did test it on busy roads with strict speed limits, which meant we couldn't really put the RR through its limits on launch, and the damper may show its true colours on track. So there's a decent amount of vibration through the bars, which made reading the dash and using the mirrors a little tricky, but that can easily be forgiven given the potency of the 3-pot powertrain. Brembo radial 4-piston calipers grab twin 320mm discs up front with enough bite to stop a bike twice the Brutale size. There's a reason that rear wheel lift-up mitigation features in the Bosch ABS 9 Plus system. Meanwhile, a 2-piston Brembo unit on a single disc features at the rear, providing not that bad stopping power in itself. I didn't get a chance to test the ABS or traction control as neither kicked in on our 80-odd mile test ride. So for the verdict, MV claimed that the new Brutale 800RR was 3 years in the making, but it really feels a generation ahead of the mass production models of the manufacturer's previous life. It combines excellent lightweight handling with the power of a fully grown naked. Forget the term middleweight, as the 800RR really occupies a grunty league of its own. Costing from £13,490, the Brutale 800RR is also in a different price league to its competition. Triumph's Street Triple RS costs just north of 10 grand, while KTM's 790 Duke is £8,499, and Yamaha's MT-09 SP is only £500 more at £8,999. Admittedly, they're lower powered and less exclusive than the Brutale, but that aggressive spirit of riding remains. But while the price of the Brutale has increased, so has the bike's reliability, attention to detail and fine craftsmanship. MV is aiming to be better than premium, and it looks like they're nearly there, but only time will tell if the new Brutale will banish the breakdowns of its predecessors.